Calling to order the regular meeting of the Wheeling Plan Commission for Wednesday, November 6th, 2024. Please stand for the pledge. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Commissioner Riles.
Here.
Commissioner Meyer.
Here.
Commissioner Casper is absent with prior notice. Commissioner Sprague is here. Commissioner Smart.
Here.
Commissioner Heiken.
Here.
Chairman Johnson.
Here. Ms. Nyes, any changes to the agenda this evening?
No changes.
Citizens' concerns and comments? I don't think we had anyone sign up for that.
No.
All right, and we have no consent items, so we get right into our items for review, starting with PSP MIN 24-0034, request for minor site plan and appearance approval for construction of an outdoor storage yard for Vinston-US Corp, 204 to 206 Carpenter Avenue. Nice.
Thank you. I'll just give a brief overview, and then the petitioner is here. So this is the property, and there's an existing building and a parking lot on the west side. And the petitioner is here because they want to build an outdoor storage yard east of the building. And then they will also have to put in a stormwater detention basin next to that to account for the hard surface. So there's picture, let's see where the plan, oh, this is where the parking, or the outdoor storage area and the detention area will go. And that's an existing plan, and there's the proposed plan. So around the outdoor storage area, you'll see with this darker line, a 6-foot wood fence is proposed. There'll be an opening down here on the south side, so they'll be able to drive in and out through that gate. Staff did ask that they put landscaping along the front face of the fence to match the landscaping across the face of the building. So they've added that. There was a tree that was going to be removed, and we did ask that that be, an extra tree be added to the plan. We didn't see that in the last revision, so that is added as a condition to approval. And there are a total of 5 proposed conditions. If you want me to read those now.
Yeah, you can wait.
Okay, we'll wait. So the petitioner's here if they would like to come forward.
Whoever it is, come on up. Flip a coin.
Good evening, everyone. Yeah, Cliff Toberman, civil engineer.
Need to raise the microphone up a little bit.
How's that? Yeah,
That's
there we
better.
go.
Name and business address, please, for the
Yes,
record.
Cliff Toberman, civil engineer, principal at Norman J. Toberman and Associates, located at 115 South Wilkie Road in Suite 301, Arlington Heights.
Thank you. Tell us about the project.
Okay. As you mentioned nicely in the introduction to the project, the storage lot is proposed, right now it's shown as asphalt pavement, seasonal, if we can get it in here. And with the board-on-board fencing described, but from a stormwater standpoint, fairly straightforward. It's actually sheet draining the runoff off from the building, away from the building, off to the side there of the storage lots, and into a basin, a shallow basin. It's a small project. The detention wasn't anything significant. I mean, it is. I mean, the numbers are there for following the latest Bulletin 75 8.5-inch storm events. That's per your requirements, and Metropolitan Water Reclamation District. And nonetheless, the drainage is will be tied into existing storm sewer on the site, and that has Oh, a design that's probably older when the building went up from older MWD wheeling requirements years back. And so it's actually tied into that system. So I look at it as an advantage, and here's why. The existing area is if you notice from your picture, you can sort of see sort of a flat area today. It's sort of a lower flat area in the back where the basin's going, actually, where the detention basin's going. So you can sort of see it in that picture, right? A little bit of brownish on the grass. So it's a sort of a poorly drained area, and the the property. There's a little bit of drainage from the neighbors that sort of goes there, and it doesn't have any place to go. So on top of it, we've designed a detention basin that will accept that offsite drainage, as in addition, that comes today anyway, that as well as picking up the sheet flow that's sort of going through depressed curbs. You may have seen them before in parking lots where they try to sheet flow into a grass island area, which is perfect in that regard. Nonetheless, from a stormwater standpoint, it'll be restricted discharge using a 3-inch minimum restrictor and so forth. So it's all an improvement from that standpoint. And actually being connected, the latest little revision that was done this week was to connect into the existing storm sewer system. That's an older storm system. So when I looked at that point of connection, I guess one advantage is the other is an old catch basin, pipe catch basin in the lot, which is storing water a little bit in the lot, ponding a little bit from heavy rains, would pond. Well, the good news is if it's slow drainage getting out, it'll actually back into our basin. So for smaller events, it's actually backing into the new basin if the pipe is overwhelmed from the existing system gets a little overwhelmed because it wasn't designed for a 100-year storm like it is today. So it's sort of sharing. I guess I sort of like that extra change. It sort of shares the storm water a little bit better between the properties, and eventually it discharges to larger pipe. I think the intent was to get it into a storm sewer that had larger storm sewer. Using the existing pipe today that's out in the park, it actually drains the larger storm sewer eventually. So that's probably the nutshell of the storm water element of it. Outside of that, we're not changing the driveway really. And I guess one other advantage of the stormwater, actually the overflow. We're providing a little improvement to the overflow right along the driveway. So the nice thing, it's got ability to go right into a catch basin right next to the overflow area. So as the driveway comes in off of Carpenter on the lower right of the drawing there, that's the acceptance of overflow. If this system overflows, it's got a nice, easy route and into a different storm sewer system, actually. So, if one thing's backed up, you got the other storm sewer too. So pretty unusual. You're at a high point. It's actually at a high point here with the split of storm sewer in either direction. Locally, obviously it's not a necessarily high area, but there's a little bit of a rise in that area. So I think a little landscaping will be a nice improvement, and around that, it'll be a nice basin, flat bottom. So it will be flat bottom, and with some infiltration below it, with some under drain and infiltration. And so a lot of little rain events, there won't be any water. It's trying to infiltrate. Now, we'll see. When it comes to spring, you guys, the usual snow on the ground and freezing, thawing, usually there's a few weeks in spring and middle March or April, it could be a little bit of softness in the whole thing, right? Like everybody sees in their backyards, basically, in low spots. But that's about it. I think from a, what else to say? I think the storage lots is a nice addition, right, to the building. And I see them all the time, you guys. This must be the 4th one I've done in 2 years now. So you see the need for outdoor storage everywhere, no matter what city that's industrial, based, has some industrial base needing help for those particular buildings.
Okay. Anything else? No? Then we'll go to the commission and see what kind of questions we have. Commissioner Heiken, let's start down there.
Thank you. I just have a couple of questions. The power lines in the picture look as though they're tilting. Is that where your storage area is going?
No,
those
no,
gonna be
we're
moved?
staying away. Yeah, we're staying away from power poles. Yes.
Okay, and then the other question is, what exactly are we storing in the outside storage?
Oh, I believe, yeah, well, you want to answer that? Yeah,
Yeah,
Come on up, introduce yourself.
my name is Kevin Locken with Bridgewater General Contracting. I'm the president. Do you need the address as well?
Sure.
Okay, it's 1750 Grandstand Place, Suite 18, Elgin, Illinois. What I've been told is that they've got just some trucks that they want enclosed in an area, and there may be some 16-foot trailers in there that they carry around on their equipment. I did hear, as far as the storage goes, because, my first thought was, well, let's just call this a parking lot. They did say that they may have an A-frame there with their grounding rods or their conduit. They're a solar company.
Right.
So they might have like grounding rods that they just pick up and put on their trucks. They may have an A-frame out there. That's what I was told. So, anything outside of that, I wasn't given a heads up on, but those were just a couple of items. They want a secure area for their trucks.
Nothing wrong with that. I'm fine with that.
Okay.
No other questions, thank you.
Okay.
Commissioner Smart,
That actually was my question too, and it's been answered, so nothing further. Thank you.
Commissioner Sprague.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening. The wood fence, did you have any thoughts on using composite versus the wood, or?
I think the first thing that we looked at in the thing that Marcy had sent over to us was that wood was acceptable, and we said, let's go with cedar wood, right?
Okay.
And so, the stain is, up to whomever wants to choose the color. We were just kind of like, hey, whatever's the easiest path to getting this in, we were fine with that.
You will stain it then?
Yeah.
Okay, and then you're not concerned about future maintenance on, as far as
That's up to the tenant.
the wood go? Okay,
Yeah, it's up to the tenant. It's
Okay.
a triple net.
all right. Okay.
So I mean, we can, obviously give that instruction to them, like, hey, once we're off the lot, this becomes your problem. So, but if you guys decide that you guys want composite, we can go that way just as well. So
No, it's acceptable. That was my question
Yeah.
as far as what your thoughts were on.
Yeah. It was the first item on the boilerplate, right? So we just said, let's go with wood.
Okay. All right, and then the area where the drainage is gonna be?
Mm-hmm.
There's no underground facilities that need to be moved or anything there?
Not that I'm aware of. Yeah, there should not. Yeah, there shouldn't be. There shouldn't be.
Right.
Yeah,
According to the plans, right?
correct. Yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you. That's all I have.
Commissioner Meyer.
Good evening. Really simple question. You have dumpsters on the west side.
Yes.
I'm assuming you are not planning any changes to the trash, like a trash enclosure at this point in time?
We're gonna put it in the fenced area.
You are?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, already planned for that.
All right, thank you.
That it?
That's it.
Okay. Commissioner Riles.
Thank you. I don't have any questions. The fence question was raised, and that's all I have, so thank you.
All right. I think we've covered everything I had too, as far as the trash storage, keeping it inside. I don't know what challenge that is for waste management,
Yeah.
if you're gonna have it closed up all the time, but,
Yeah. They'll have to figure
Yeah.
that out.
but if they decide that they want to keep it on the outside, then, as Marcy pointed out, you
Yep.
gotta come back for a trash enclosure.
Yeah, of course.
And then adding the tree as a condition, so, let's go over the conditions then.
Number 1, all garbage collection shall remain indoors or within the outdoor storage area. If any such refuse collection is located outside the structure and/or outdoor storage area, a trash enclosure shall be constructed in adherence to all applicable Wheeling Municipal Code regulations. Number 2, Detail sheet, sheet number C-6, shall be revised to indicate that steel posts shall be used for construction of the double gate prior to the issuance of any village permits. Number 3, the finished side of the fence shall face toward the outside of the enclosed area. Number 4, at least one tree shall be added to the site and landscaping plan, sheet number C-3, prior to the issuance of any village permits. And number 5, a performance bond and engineering permit will be required prior to work commencing.
Any other questions from the commission? Then I would entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Smart and Riles. Commissioner Smart,
Yes.
Commissioner Riles,
Yes.
Commissioner Meyer,
Yes.
Commissioner Sprague is a yes, Commissioner Heiken,
Yes.
Chairman Johnson.
Yes.
Okay, so you have the Plan Commission's approval, you're already in for a permit, you just have to submit those revised things,
And then the letter of credit.
and then let our credit write it, and then.
Yeah, and we're working on that.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that
just-
that should be next couple days,
Yep,
so. okay.
yep.
All right.
All right,
perfect.
thank
Thank
you.
you.
Guys,
Thank you.
appreciate it.
All right, next up, we have PSU 24-0019, request for special use to permit a gaming establishment for the Lucky Emerald, 71 South Milwaukee Avenue. Mr. Secretary?
WHG Incorporated, doing business as Brown's Chicken, Wheeling, Illinois. Leasee is seeking special use approval pursuant to Title 19, zoning of the Wheeling Municipal Code, Chapter 1910, use regulations and associated sections in order to permit a gaming establishment located at 71 South Milwaukee Avenue, which is Zone B3, General Commercial and Office District. A special use is defined in the zoning code as a use of parcel of land that requires review and consideration before approval due to the potential for negative impacts on surrounding properties. In order to be considered for a special use, the petitioner is required to demonstrate through testimony to the Plan Commission at a public hearing that the request meets the standards of the village code, including but not limited to how the proposed use will not damage the enjoyment or use of the surrounding properties. Prior to the public hearing, the petitioner provides written statements meant to show that the request meets the standards for a special use as established in Title 19. The commission chairperson will typically direct that these statements be entered into the record without a full reading of them at the hearing. Based upon the testimony and supporting materials submitted, the Plan Commission will make findings in support of or against the petitioner's testimony and report those findings to the village board.
Thank you. Ms. Nyes, anything?
I'll just give a quick overview again. So the petitioner's here, but really quick, she currently runs the Brown's Chicken / Savory Plate business on Milwaukee Avenue here. And it currently has the 6 gaming terminals operating at this location, which currently functions as a restaurant. And when the gaming terminals came in, we didn't have the gaming establishment special use option, so it was just, it's a restaurant. And now she can go into the specifics for why, but in 2022, we came up with this specific use category for gaming establishment. So now she wants to apply for that special use so that she can convert the restaurant into a different establishment, which is going to be called the Lucky Emerald and is going to have this floor plan and be a gaming establishment. So that means that it can just be gaming as the sole use, and she will not be required to serve food. They can provide food if they want, but they don't have to provide food like they would if they were still considered a restaurant. So she had in the letter she provided and in the project description here by staff, it talks about the number of seats and hours of operation, and I'm sure she can answer questions about that.
Thank you. This is a public hearing, so I have to swear you in. Raise your right hand. Do you swear the testimony you're giving tonight to be the truth?
Yes, it's the
All right, and then state your name and business address for the record.
Sunita Mesquita, 71 South Milwaukee Avenue.
Hold the mic closer. There you go.
Sunita Mesquita, 71 South Milwaukee Avenue.
Okay, tell us about your project.
First of all, I want to thank all the committee members for giving me this opportunity to be here. And I I'm requesting for a change of use from restaurant with gaming to a gaming establishment. Any other questions? I'm glad to answer.
Okay, well, I'm sure we'll have some. Let's start the other end, Commissioner Riles.
Thank you, appreciate it. Thank you and welcome.
Thank you.
My question, one of my questions is, why are you converting from a restaurant to just gaming? Even though you may still be able to sell food or offer food, why are you converting?
Right, because I opened this restaurant, it's going to be 2 years this month, and I have tried 2 concepts to run the business, but unfortunately, it has not been successful. And I have been not only bleeding financially, but it has taken a lot of time away from family for me. So I want to give this opportunity to myself to see if I can get this approval and have a quality time and be a little more financially secure.
Okay, my follow-up question is, and thank you for answering that, I appreciate it, but I see here, and correct me if it's wrong, but your working hours will be from 7 a.m. to 2 a.m., Monday through Thursday?
Yes,
7 a.m.?
yes.
May I ask why 7 a.m.?
Because there are some people who go to work and they want to come early to game. So we are keeping that option open. But if it doesn't, then we can start late. But I want that opportunity to have it at 7 for the gamers.
So you're suggesting that like the third shifters are getting off of work or whatever, and then they'll come to your establishment to engage?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. I don't have any other questions.
Commissioner Smart, or Meyer, I'm sorry.
No questions, thank you.
Commissioner Sprague.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So is Brown's going away completely then?
Yes, sir.
So there won't be any more chicken available?
Not at the moment.
Ah, darn it. That's all I have, thanks.
Now, Commissioner Smart.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Do you currently have people who use the existing gaming in the morning?
Yes, ma'am.
You do?
Yes.
Can you tell me?
So we open only at 10.
Uh-huh.
I go there at 10 and I open, but the gaming is open from 11. But we have people who have requested us to open it earlier than 10.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
Okay. And I think I read somewhere in the packet you were considering maybe offering small bites?
Yes,
are you-
because I have a full kitchen, so we will have a limited menu.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Commissioner Hyken.
My questions have all been answered, thank you.
All right. Yeah, your cover letter described as a novel business with adventurous plates. What's an adventurous plate? I'm just
Where
curious.
people will come and just enjoy themselves.
Okay. All right, the only other thing I would say is just remember to get the appropriate permits for any work you're doing.
Yes, sir.
And I think it's part of the conditions to come back for signs. You want to do the conditions, Marcy?
Okay. Sorry. Number 1, the hours of operation shall be consistent with the associated Wheeling liquor license. Number 2, a building permit shall be obtained from the Department of Community Development prior to any commencement of any interior and/or exterior construction. Number 3, a Wheeling sign permit shall be applied for and received prior to the installation of exterior signage, except for signage pursuant to Chapter 21.6 of the Wheeling Sign Code. And number 4, prior to beginning operations, a new business license application shall be submitted to the Community Development Department.
Thank you. Any other questions?
I do have one question.
Yes, sir.
With the hours of operation and the associated with the liquor licenses, do they coincide, or they?
Yeah, so the liquor license that she's applying for, she currently has a restaurant one. She's applied for a gaming one.
Okay.
And those hours of operation are 7 a.m. to 2 a.m.
Okay.
So she does comply with that, and if that ever changed, it would be tied to the liquor license and not the special use.
Sorry.
And she's in the process. It'll probably go to the same meeting as this
Okay.
special use.
All right, if there's no other questions, I would like to hear a motion.
So moved.
Thank you, appreciate that.
Second. Meyer, Sprague. Commissioner Meyer.
Yes.
Commissioner Sprague is a yes. Commissioner Riles.
Yes.
Commissioner Smart.
Yes.
Commissioner Heiken.
Yes.
Chairman Johnson.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so I will send you a follow-up email about going to the village board. This is a recommendation. They take it to the village board, so you'll just have to go to the village board for final decision.
Thank you so
Okay,
much.
Thank you.
All right, now I need a motion to close docket PSU 24-0019.
So moved.
Second?
Smart and Meyer. Commissioner Smart.
Yes.
Commissioner Meyer.
Yes.
Commissioner Riles.
Yes.
Commissioner Sprague is a yes. Commissioner Heiken.
Yes.
Chairman Johnson.
Yes. All right, next up, we have two related public hearings, so we'll open both for discussion. First is PRZ 24-0003, request for rezoning from I-1 Light Industrial and Office Zoning District to I-3 General Industrial Zoning District for Robert Fisher at 2092 Foster Avenue. And we have PSU 24-0022, request for a special use to permit a self-storage facility at the same address, 2092 Foster Avenue. Mr. Secretary?
Robert Fisher, 2092 Foster Avenue, Wheeling. Property owner seeks a rezoning from the I-1 Light Industrial and Office Zoning District to the I-3 General Industrial Zoning District pursuant to Title 19 zoning of the Wheeling Municipal Code, Chapter 1914, Ordinance Administration and associated sections for the property located at 2092 Foster Avenue. A rezoning is defined in the zoning code as an amendment to the map and/or text of the zoning ordinance to effect a change in the nature, density, or intensity of uses allowed in a zoning district and/or on a designated parcel of land area. In order to be considered for a rezoning, the petitioner is required to demonstrate through testimony to the Plan Commission at a public hearing that the request meets the standards of the village code, including but not limited to how the proposed zoning is desirable in the village and is compatible with and contributes to surrounding land uses and zoning. Prior to the public hearing, the petitioner provides written statements meant to show that the request meets the standards for a rezoning as established in Title 19. The commission chairperson will typically direct that these statements be entered in the record without full reading of them at the hearing. Based upon the testimony and supporting materials submitted, the Plan Commission will make findings in support of or against the petitioner's testimony and report those findings to the village board. Robert Fisher, 2092 Foster Avenue, Wheeling, Illinois. Property owner seeks a special use as required under Title 19 zoning of the Wheeling Municipal Code, Chapter 1907, Industrial Districts, Chapter 1910, Use Regulation, and associated sections to permit a self-storage facility in the I-3 General Industrial Zoning District for the property located at 2092 Foster Avenue. A special use as defined in the zoning code is a use of parcel of land that requires a review and consideration before approval due to the potential for negative impacts on surrounding properties. In order to be considered for a special use, the petitioner is required to demonstrate through testimony to the Plan Commission at a public hearing that the request meets the standards of the village code, including but not limited to how the proposed use will not damage the enjoyment or use of the surrounding properties. Prior to the public hearing, the petitioner provides written statements meant to show that their request meets the standards for a special use as established in Title 19. The commission chairperson will typically direct that these statements be entered into the record without a full reading of them at the hearing. Based upon the testimony and supporting materials submitted, the Plan Commission will make findings in support of or against the petitioner's testimony and report those findings to the village board.
Thank you. You can take a rest now. Ms. Nyes, you got anything to add to that?
Yes. So on the rezoning, I just wanted to show everyone, if you can look at the zoning map on the right side, you'll see that the property is on the west side of Foster. This is Foster, and if you can see it under here. So all these properties on the west side are split zone. The front of their properties are I-3, and the back side of the properties are all I-1. So that's something that the village is looking to do in the future, is kind of clean up this zoning here and give them all one zoning. So while the petitioner's here for their property, it would just be their single property right now, but the village does hope in the near future to come in and clean up the rest of it. So as you'll see on this up close here, they've got the front half I-3, the back, most of it I-1, so they want to make it all I-3, so that's what the rezoning is about. And then following that, the special use is about self-storage. That actual use is, that use requires a special use in the I-3 zoning district, and the petitioner wants to have a storage area for cars for an automobile club. We did have some proposed conditions, and there was one more condition that staff did want to add, which was that, I can read them all, but the one that staff wanted to add, and I don't know if we need to vote on this or not, or if I can just add it, was that the special use is just limited to the self-storage of cars. So it wouldn't be that it would be turned into like a mini self-storage warehouse or something like that. Yeah, you guys can address it when you come up. So that's all I have to say. Yeah.
My legal name is difficult to pronounce, so you probably took Richard. It was easier. Anyway, my name is Steve DeMacos.
I got to swear you in. This is a public hearing, both of them. Yeah, if you're going to talk, come on up.
Okay.
Get you all at once. Do you swear the testimony you're giving tonight to be the truth?
I do.
Okay. And then
My name is Steve, also Soterios DeMacos. I won't ask you to pronounce it.
Could you spell that for me?
And get closer to the mic.
Okay. Soterios. And then the last name is the same, DeMacos, but I go by Steve for the obvious reasons. The special use is just going to be for self-storage of our own cars or friends' cars. There is no club, unless you would like to become part of our club, but otherwise, no.
But there's no club.
There's no club, right. So it's just going to be for us putting our cars, because our homes don't have garages, for putting all of them in there.
Okay. Anything else you have to add? Come on.
Well, you got to.
Do I have to swear in?
Well, you didn't have your hand up before, so yeah.
I just wanted to add that my name is Richard, but you can call me Robert if you want.
You guys all have aliases?
Sorry.
or-
Yeah, I guess I put his name down wrong. So
That's okay.
Richard, got it.
But if you want, I could be Bob today, no problem.
Richard, not Robert.
Okay, so anything else you want to add before we go to questions?
I prepared a statement, so maybe I should
go
say
ahead.
it. All right.
You
So,
went through all that work,
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board. I would like to take this opportunity to thank you for allowing us to appear before you tonight. My name is Kirk Alexakos of Epic Architecture, 5731 North Central Avenue in Chicago. I am the architect on this project. I am joined here by Mr. Steve DeMacos and Mr. Richard Fisher, owners of the subject property at 2092 Foster Avenue here in Wheeling. We appear before you tonight asking for a rezoning from the existing split zoning of the site from the existing I-1 to the west or rear of the site and I-3 in the east or front of the site. What we are seeking is to rezone the entire property to an I-3 as to allow for a special use as a storage facility and make the building usable from a zoning standpoint. There shall be no additional space added to the building in our request. Currently, the single-story building has been used as a machine shop from the previous owners. The self-storage we are proposing is not permitted in the I-1 zoning district, which encompasses the rear 50% of the existing building. Hence the reason we are appearing before you tonight asking for this relief. To our understanding, as Marcy mentioned, there are multiple cases around the village of Wheeling where the lots are divided, and the goal is to find the resolution. So we find ourselves in that exact situation and ask for your consideration to accept our request. Mr. DeMacos and Mr. Fisher, the new owners of the building as of last month, are automobile enthusiasts and would like to utilize the space to park their collection of vehicles year-round. Knowing them personally, they plan to be good neighbors and are excited to be part of the community. The area will benefit from their presence as members of the community through meticulous maintenance and security of the newly acquired property, as well as through outreach to the community. We sincerely thank you for taking the time to allow us to discuss our challenges with you and hope that you will allow us the relief we are seeking in order for Mr. Demakos and Mr. Fisher to move forward with this passion project. Thank you for your consideration.
All right, thank you. Obviously, we have no public comments on it. Well, he practiced. Commissioner
And it
Huygen.
showed.
Mr. Huygen.
Yeah, I just have, are you putting up signs anywhere on the front of the building?
That was
Just so you're aware, you gotta go. Okay, I'm not gonna ask any more questions, I'm giving away anymore. The other question was, is, absolutely, careful what you say. The other thing is the driveway, the resurfacing or clean that up? Reseal it? Okay, that's all I have, thank you, welcome. Thank you. I'll talk to you later.
Commissioner Smart.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. What is a rare exotic vehicle? Why don't you come to the
Okay.
mic?
We have this vast audience at home that needs to hear it.
So it's any collectible car. It could be an old classic American car. A exotic car would be, for instance, a Porsche 911, which is modeled in the drawing, things like that. Just enthusiast cars, things that people look to collect or enjoy or drive.
Okay. And then one other question. On the floor plan here, there's this one car on the left that's by itself. Is that, you're not doing any repairs?
Zero repairs.
So
which
that is sitting there just because it's another space?
Steve likes to be alone.
Yeah.
No, it's just an extra space. The way it's laid out, if you go too far deep into the building with where the wall is, you wouldn't be able to pull out. So that one's just kind of be a direct pull-in area.
And the other area,
But-
because you can't utilize it for parking, we just have it as an area to sit down.
Okay. All right. Thank
There
you
would
very
be
much.
zero repairs. We are
Zero repairs.
not mechanically
Or
inclined.
storage. other
Got
than
it.
the cars.
Yes,
The request to me was fit us a dozen cars, so.
yeah,
yes,
there's
as well.
very dangerous. If
Okay.
we worked on cars, it'd be a dangerous thing, so.
Thank you very much.
Commissioner Sprague.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening. Is this all personal cars, owned cars?
Yes.
There will be some friends in there as
Some
well,
friends.
storing cars, but we took it upon ourselves to buy the building.
And if somebody who needs a spot or two,
Ah.
yes, but it'll be mostly filled with our cars.
So you have a lot of cars then?
Unfortunately.
I'll give you my wife's phone.
Are you going to fill this up, or
You can call my wife. She will say yes, I will say no.
where do you keep them now?
Well, two are in Arizona, they need to come back.
Oh.
Two in my garage, which is not suited for that. And
Are you going to rent out any spaces, or
Just to,
are you going to rent any spaces?
If we don't fill it up, we would rent them to friends and, other car enthusiasts, but it's not exactly in
it's not,
our plans.
it's really designed, it was originally bought because we have a car problem.
Yes.
And,
Oh, I can sympathize. I know all about that. Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
Commissioner Meyer.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So appreciate the transparency about the car problem. Thank you very much. Just a couple questions, though. You mentioned, I think in your cover letter about, cars and coffee, and I see this elevated lounge area within your floor plan. Can you talk to me a little bit about what that planned use might be?
Sure.
it's, oh, you want to do it?
It's up to you.
Okay, well, that's not going to be elevated anymore. It's just going to be on the ground. We just elevated it so a car doesn't go over there.
Okay.
But we're not going to do it because of the cost. So
Okay.
it's just going to be on the ground. And it wasn't, not really a cars and coffee. What we had thought about early on was to have a small grand opening and invite the local fire department, police department, and maybe some kids from hospitals just to see the cars. We're not planning on
nice.
any events. We're trying to keep a low profile. We don't want to draw people's attention to, that's why the building is going to basically stay, other than being cleaned up a little bit, it's going to be a brown building.
Okay. I also want to ask, I know you've got 12 cars on the drawing, okay? Is the intent not to have any more than 12 cars? And let me tell you why I'm asking. Because I've seen other situations where, people use a facility for storage, and all of a sudden, there's so many cars in there, you can barely get around.
It will never be in a situation where cars cannot be readily accessible and moved easily.
Okay.
This is not going to be a garage to put as many cars in there as possible.
Okay.
It's just pull the car in and pull the car out.
Okay,
We
that
won't be on
answers,
an episode of Hoarders.
Yes.
that answers my concern. No chemicals will be stored on the site? And you,
What's in the cars, like oil, but
yeah, understood, but you're not storing any other chemicals to make oil changes, that sort of thing?
No service done in the cars.
Whatsoever.
No tire storages, or, the only thing is there's going to be behind each car an outlet to plug a trickle charger in to keep the cars charged.
Yeah, makes sense. And then finally, just given what you're storing here in this facility, are you planning any sort of enhanced security?
yes, enhanced security, 100%. We're gonna have cameras, 24-hour access, we're like,
Monitoring of the garage door when it goes
Yeah.
up and down. And we met with the fire inspector today. There'll be an elaborate
fire
fire
system.
system
Yeah.
Okay,
to monitor heat, smoke, and whatever,
But it'll be very secure, yes.
okay, thank you very much.
for selfish reasons.
Commissioner Riles.
Thank you. Just a follow-up question regarding capacity of cars. Is it 12 that we see on the plan here?
Theoretically, you could put, along the back road over there, you could put perhaps a car in front of every other one, so maybe add a 3. But again, the object here is to be able to get in, move a car without moving any other cars. So it will never be where we're shuffling cars around, for a couple reasons. Number one, we don't want cars running in there. Number two, the object is go in, take your car for a drive if you want, come back, put it away, shut the door. So this is not going to be a large facility. We're trying to completely avoid that if possible, and leave it a nice little private garage.
Yeah, and the other question to that is, will it be like a rotating type of situation? For instance, you said that you have 2 cars in Arizona. Throughout the yearly process, will there be like rotating cars at any time, possibly?
Just to drive them, really, or, unfortunately, we're addicted to it, so, there might be a car that leaves and, leaves
will
the
be
family
mostly
and
for
comes back to
driving
the
the
family,
cars.
but, things like that, but no, it'll just be parked there for, at least for 6 months a year during the winter, so.
Gotcha.
They go there to die in the winter.
I would venture to say that it'll be pretty much the same cars.
The same cars, yeah, okay, yeah,
Unless we.
There could be some replacements here and there. We do
right,
get-
right. But not a, like a constant
My wife will tell you
rotation.
when there's a replacement, she'll let you know, trust me.
No, it'll be mostly the same cars at all times.
Okay.
Parked in the same places.
Thank you, gentlemen, no more questions.
Thank you.
The visual that comes to my mind is from the movie Christine.
There are no Christines, no self-driving cars, no
Okay.
electric cars, nothing like that. It'll be the standard.
Gonna
machine.
come back by itself, all burned up, and
Standard
yeah.
machine.
Okay, we covered everything else I had. Not really a club, you're just a group of guys
Yeah,
with a problem.
guys is the best way you can put it.
And problem is relative.
All right, there's no conditions on the rezoning,
Correct.
so conditions on the special use?
Yes. So number 1, the special use approval is subject to approval of the petition to rezone the subject site pursuant to docket number PRZ 24-0003. Number 2, motor vehicle, light and heavy repair shall not be permitted on the subject premises or inside the building. Number 3, outdoor storage shall comply with the requirements of Chapter 19.10.070 accessory structures of the Village Code. Number 4, a building permit shall be obtained from the Department of Community Development prior to any commencement of any interior and/or exterior construction. Number 5, any exterior signage shall be subject to the issuance of a wheeling sign permit prior to installation, except for signage pursuant to Chapter 21.6 of the Wheeling Sign Code. Number 6, the petitioner shall submit an application for business license to the Community Development Department and receive the business license prior to occupancy. Number 7, any exterior building modifications, including a change in the paint or color scheme of the building, shall be subject to the Plan Commission authorization prior to commencing any such modifications. And then the one we wanted to add was special use approval is limited to the storage of personal vehicles. If
Okay.
you guys are okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a friend's car, that's okay, but if it's just vehicles themselves,
Or you can just say storage of vehicles.
okay, yeah, we're done, yeah.
The business license
Yeah,
part
I'm
of
not
this,
sure,
is that just because of the alarm system?
No, it's a commercial property, and in order to occupy a commercial property, you need a business, one needs a business license for that. So this would be essentially a not-for-profit holder of a business license.
Okay, I thought somehow they were tied to having a alarm system and things like that.
The business license does include an item for alarms, but that is since being phased out through various other village initiatives through the merging of the regional 911 system. So that's not so much tied to business licensing any longer.
Okay.
So we would just apply for a lease, not for profit.
Correct. It would basically be a personal business.
And we spoke with.
A church for car guys.
Preach.
And we spoke with the fire inspector today, and he gave us direction on what we need to do, so we're all set.
Great. Okay, if there's no other questions,
Oh, give me one second.
we need a motion on the rezoning first.
So moved. Second.
Smart and Meyer. Commissioner Smart,
Yes.
Commissioner Meyer,
Yes.
Commissioner Riles,
Yes.
Commissioner Sprague is a yes, Commissioner Heiken,
Yes.
Chairman Johnson.
Yes. And then we need a motion on the special use, PSU.
Close that first?
No, we'll close them both.
Okay.
So move.
Second.
Heiken and Meyer. Commissioner Heiken,
Yes.
Commissioner Meyer,
Yes.
Commissioner Riles.
Yes.
Commissioner Sprague is a yes, Commissioner Smart,
Yes.
Chairman Johnson.
Yes. All right.
Okay, so I will send you a follow-up email about when you're going to go to the village board to get that. And then I'll work with you on doing the business license and the other stuff that you need.
Awesome.
Thank you all very
Thank
much.
you.
Appreciate it.
Have a great night.
Now, a motion to close both PRZ 24-003 and PSU 24-0022.
So moved.
Second.
Have a good night, everyone, thank you.
Night.
We'll see you soon.
Meyer?
I need your number.
And Riles.
Yes.
You have all my information,
All right.
you know where the address is.
I'll be there.
Have a good day,
Thanks.
everyone, thank you, take care. You're invited.
Commissioner Meyer,
Yes.
Commissioner Riles.
Yes.
Commissioner Sprague is a yes, Commissioner Smart,
Yes.
Commissioner Heiken,
Yes.
Chairman Johnson.
Yes. All right. And finally, we have docket number PTA 24-0001. Request for text amendments to Title 19 zoning of the Wheeling Municipal Code and associated chapters and sections to modify zoning regulations. I'm going to let you read the rest of that.
Okay. The Village of Wheeling seeks text amendments to Title 19 zoning in the Wheeling Municipal Code and associated chapters and sections to modify zoning regulations for massage establishment and accessory massage therapy. A text amendment is an amendment to the map and/or text of the zoning ordinance which affects the whole village. In order to be considered for a text amendment, the petitioner is required to demonstrate through testimony to the Plan Commission at a public hearing that the request meets the standards of the village code, including but not limited to how the proposed text amendment is compatible with Title 19 and the comprehensive plan. Prior to the public hearing, the petitioner provides written statements meant to show that their request meets the standards for a text amendment as established in Title 19. The commission chairperson will typically direct that these statements be entered into the record without a full reading of them at the hearing. Based upon the testimony and supporting materials submitted, the Plan Commission will make findings in support of or against the petitioner's testimony and report those findings to the village board.
Thank you. I don't suppose you have anything on this one?
No, I do not.
There's a petitioner here. This is a public hearing, so I need to swear you in. Is the testimony you're presenting tonight to be the truth?
Yes, it is.
And your name and business
Yes.
address, please.
Steve Robles, Assistant Director of Community Development, Village of Wheeling to Community Boulevard, Wheeling.
Get the microphone a little closer.
Sorry, a little closer, okay.
Okay.
Thought my voice carried enough.
All right. Tell us your
Okay.
plan here.
The village staff is proposing a series of text amendments to the massage establishment regulations. These aren't holistic changes. These are more refinements of what is already in the code. And these are a result of staff looking at the further regulatory requirements of massage establishments as it relates to Title IV of the village code, which regulates business licensing. Those are, the Title IV is where kind of the nuts and bolts of the massage establishment regulations take place. It talks about facility requirements, operating requirements, background checks, all of the very detailed regulations to operate a massage establishment within Wheeling. Within that, though, there are cross-references in Title IV to Title 19, because obviously zoning regulates land use and the determination of where various uses can occur based on zoning. So with that, staff is proposing holistic changes to Title IV, but since that is outside the role and responsibility of the Plan Commission, staff will be taking those holistic changes to the village board. But first, we need to address those crossover references in the zoning code here with the Plan Commission. So there's not much in the zoning code that regulates massage establishments, but there are the first establishing the terms of what a massage establishment is and what a massage establishment accessory use is. So naturally, the massage establishment is the principal use. This is not the definition. I've included that in the staff packet, but the massage establishment is referencing any operator that is their primary principal operation. They are a massage establishment like a Massage Envy or any one of the other principal massage establishments in the village. The change that is occurring holistically in Title IV is to completely revise that definition to align with the Illinois Department of Public Health so that the state's definition of a massage establishment the village will align with the state's definition of massage establishment. The reference in the zoning code is a little bit more generic, but again, it's a refinement to kind of just clean up wording and things of that nature for principal establishments. The second term is accessory massage establishments, and these are those that are not the principal use. A request, in fact, came to the Plan Commission recently where there was an existing personal salon and they wanted to add accessory massage. That's what this would be. That's not their principal use. That's not what they do, but they want to provide that. The village also sees this occurring. We have a few accessory massage as it relates to like sports training facilities where they will have a specialist or somebody on staff come in and do massage therapy and recovery for the students or the trainers, the athletes, and so we see that a lot within the sports uses as well. So again, just further clarifying the accessory massage and enforcing or further refining that it needs to be subordinate and incidental to a principal use. So apart from those two changes within the definitions, there's the limited zoning regulations for massage uses, and that's in 1910-060. There's kind of two subsections there. There's general requirements, and then there's kind of specific regulations. So within the general regulations, there's three there that basically say you have to comply with Title IV. So that's, again, just some cleanup language there. that massage and accessory massage can only be permitted in those zoning districts that are established within Appendix A, which is the land use table. There's no changes being proposed there, so massage and accessory massage, in terms of zoning districts and where they're permitted, there's no changes occurring there. Still within the B commercial districts, as well as the MX districts and the limited I districts. So no changes there to that, but again, just some cleanup wording. And then accessory massage, again, to remain as a permitted use, subject to being incidental to a primary use. But we've added the clarification to further make that limited to not exceed 25% of the total floor area of whatever the principal use is. And that's just, again, to kind of further limit that so that it doesn't expand in anything further, which was not in the code previously. As I mentioned, there are then specific regulations which provide further clarification. And these relate to kind of the, time, place, and matter elements. So those specific regulations talk about where in the building a massage establishment can be. No change really into the principal function of that in terms of it has to be on the ground floor. But we've added that it needs to be on the ground floor, operating as principal use of the building or the premises. Before it was just talking about the building, so we're just trying to further define everything so that there's not this ability to kind of work through the various open terms and open to interpretation. So we're trying to limit those. The second specific regulation is that the massage establishment needs to be clearly visible from the public street, needs to be accessed from the main customer entrance. It can't be accessed off an internal hallway or vestibule or anything like that. That way you have direct access into the establishment. Again, not a fundamental change there, just further clarifying language to further define and establish so that there aren't any abuses of loopholes or anything of that nature. And then the last one being that the reception area and the customer waiting area need to be visible at all times. They can't be concealed with window coverings or anything of that nature. Again, nothing new there, just further refinement of language to further refine those terms. And again, as I mentioned, within Appendix A, there's no changes to zoning districts. However, the only text changes that are there just to further clarify what accessory massage uses can be accessory to. It was kind of the way it was formatted in the use table made it a little unclear, and so we were just making some clarifying through the formatting of the table there. So that's really only the change within Appendix A for that. Again, very minor in terms of the scope of the zoning code. As I mentioned before, the holistic changes will occur outside of Title IV, which we will take to the village board, which will essentially be a whole new functioning code. It's been through the review of the village attorney, so everything's good there. And so we hope to get that in front of the board at their next meeting and have a new massage establishment set of regulations to then put into place.
Okay.
That's it.
Are there any questions from the commission?
No.
Commissioner Sprague.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just kind of curiosity, a place like Athletico, do they fall under these regulations?
They do. They're classified as a medical type operation because they do therapy and rehab.
Right.
And so within the zoning code right now, it says that if you're accessory to a medical operation, that is permitted. There are other uses like personal service establishments. So if you're a salon or anything of that nature, or if you're a recreational instructional facility, those accessory massage use, if you want to do that, you have to go through a special use. So our zoning code kind of has, if you're medical related, it's okay and you're allowed as an accessory. If you're not, then you have to go through special use, and that's one of the things we're just bringing everything together. So it's, if it's accessory and you're subordinate and you're 25% floor area or less, then you're permitted, provided that the principal use has all the necessary zoning approvals.
Okay, thank you.
Any questions out that end?
Just real quick, how does it apply to like personal like doctors or whatever, if they just have an office and they're in an office building, how does that apply?
Same as like an Athletico. It'd be considered, because the doctor's office would be a medical office. And so they're allowed to do, that would be permitted. And it's just, again, because that wouldn't be all they do. It would just be,
I'm sorry, so let me rephrase it.
Yeah.
Not a doctor, but there are some private, I guess masseuse companies out there running independently, and they may be in an office building, on the second floor in the corner. You mentioned that it should be open space.
for a principal massage establishment. So if all you're doing is massage, then there are stricter requirements. But
Right.
if you're providing ancillary massage, so if you're a massage therapist working with a doctor, then that's accessory, and you're not then subject to those further restrictions.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
Hey, Steve, I have one comment. I'm just noticing this change, and I think.
It
under-
passed your review, so.
I
it's-
know. But I'm looking at, for Q1B, where it says massage establishments and accessory massage shall be permitted in the zoning districts as illustrated.
Yes.
I'm thinking we should go back to allowed, because permitted suggests like permitted
Oh,
use
okay.
versus special use, and and it was previously allowed.
Allowed. Yes, that's.
It's not substantive, it's
No.
just, let's avoid any
Yeah.
confusion.
Do we have any that would qualify under the accessory clause now?
Yes.
Other than the one we just approved?
Yes, there are, like Athletico, that's currently operating, they'll do massage therapy as part of their rehab. There's doctors' offices within the village that do massage as well. And again, we have a variety within the industrial area. We have a variety of sports-related businesses that, the main gymnastics, I always forget the name, the gymnastics center off of Palatine there, they have an office area that I think they rotate through the various physical therapists and massage therapists, but they always have a space dedicated for massage therapy for the gymnastics.
And none of them would exceed that 25%?
From what we're seeing, no. It's always just like an office or room or off to the side. It's usually a table off to the side. It's never really, and that's one of the things that when it comes through a staff review for the accessory, we always look at to make sure that it is truly accessory and it's only, and again, every situation we've seen, it's either a vacant office room or it's a corner of the floor area.
Didn't want anyone existing.
Sure, of
Legally
course.
existing
Yes,
now to
yes.
suddenly find out that they're not. Okay. I don't think I have any other questions, nobody else, so, a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Meyer, Smart. Commissioner Meyer,
Yes.
Commissioner Smart,
Yes.
Commissioner Riles,
Yes.
Commissioner Sprague is a yes, Commissioner Heiken,
Yes.
Chairman Johnson.
Yes.
All right, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we need a motion to close PTA 24-0001.
So moved.
Second.
Your choice.
Sprague and Riles. Riles?
No. No.
Heiken.
Doesn't matter.
It was a tie. Well, I heard Meyer down here, but Hiking down there.
Heiken.
Everybody's anxious to leave.
Okay.
We all sound alike.
Commissioner Sprague is a yes, Commissioner Heiken,
Yes.
Commissioner Riles.
Yes.
Commissioner Meyer.
Yes.
Commissioner Smart,
Yes.
Chairman Johnson.
Yes. All right. Approval of minutes of the regular meeting of October 23rd, 2024, including the finding of fact for docket numbers PV 24-0011 and PV 24-0010.
So moved.
Second.
Sprague, Meyer. Commissioner Sprague is a yes, Commissioner Meyer,
Yes.
Commissioner Riles.
Yes.
Commissioner Smart,
Yes.
Commissioner Heiken,
Yes.
Chairman Johnson.
Yes. Other business, Ms. Nyes, what you got?
In the packet, you will find the proposed calendar for 2025. I did not make a slide of that, I'm sorry. So I don't know if we have to vote on this, but I looked last year, we did vote on it.
We did last year, yeah.
So let's vote on it, unless anyone has any comments, concerns, edits.
I didn't really go month by month on it. It's the same thing, second and
It's-
fourth,
yep,
except for
second and
November
fourth,
and
except for the
December.
last, yep, and then the last, our second meeting in August is the joint meeting.
Yes, so,
And then in November and December, it switches to first and third because of the holidays.
all right. So a motion to accept the calendar as proposed.
Yes.
So moved.
Second.
Meyer and Heiken. Commissioner Meyer.
Yes.
Commissioner Heiken.
Yes.
Commissioner Riles.
Yes?
Commissioner Sprague is a yes. Commissioner Smart.
Yes.
Chairman Johnson.
Yes. Any other biz?
I do not have any other business.
Okay. Anyone down at this end?
Nothing for me.
No, sir?
Come on, Mike, you must have
Yeah, I had a question, but I can't, I'm frazzled from all that reading.
How about down there? Any new TV shows? No?
Not yet.
No, we've been busy with ribbon cuttings lately, between Rosebud and Cilantro and the Taste of Wheeling. It's been
We
a
got
couple weeks.
Tree lighting.
holiday lighting coming
Yeah.
up.
Holiday lighting's coming up later this month. Any other ribbon cuttings coming up soon?
There may be one coming up for a new bank in the town center. So Wintrust Bank will be moving into the former Byline Bank building. So you may have seen some.
I was surprised to see Byline gone one day. I went by,
right.
Hey, there's no signs up anymore.
Yes, they are in fact, the next meeting, there's a sign variance item on the next Plan Commission agenda for Wheeling Bank and Trust. And you may notice some blue accents going on the building. Those are just minor accent coloring that they did to the parapet wall and the canopies, nothing to the facade itself.
Okay.
Are they giving out samples?
That I don't know.
How about birdies? Is that,
I'll be there.
Birdies, they are still working on construction, so hopefully close.
Whatever happened with the big pastes depot at the old Allstate building?
Yes, that is on hold again with Pace. Pace is going through the process of their future fleet and what type of fleet they will have, whether it'll be full, fuel, whether it would be compressed natural gas, whether it'll be hydrogen, electric. And so what they're determining internally in the organization is whether or not they want to equip this facility with whichever their next generation of bus fleets will be fueled with. So they want to make sure that they do that once and not have to do a retrofit afterwards. So they're,
That's been like 2 years then,
yeah,
hasn't it?
it's
At
been
least?
since, I think, 2019, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Way longer.
Yeah.
Wow. Time flies. Okay, if there's no other business, a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Meyer, Riles?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.